Hi, I'm Manny, and this entire time lapse is gonna be just me struggling to establish the shape of the hands. Because, I procrastinated this shit for a reason. Like, hands usually don't give me that much trouble, but for some reason on this particular artwork, it was a pain. And shout out to the website Pose Maniacs because they have like 3D hand models and different poses that you can like change the angle. So I did, and I took a screenshot of them to sort of give me a rough idea of how the hands should look. It was still kind of a pain because I needed to work the perspective into the perspective of the image. So I had to obviously not make it look like a disembodied hand that was just randomly attached. Like I had to make it look like it was organically attached and that the angle made sense. One thing that was biting me in the ass is that the way I usually figure this stuff out is I just scribble until something looks good or looks accurate, but the gouache brush, which is what I'm using, doesn't lend itself well to like scribbling. So I might need to use another brush for scribbling, probably just a regular round brush with opacity, density, and size pressure so that I can actually layer little sketching and actually figure all that stuff out without having to render because the gouache brush is good for rendering, not so much for figuring out the construction of a structure. In other news, I'm thinking of getting a couple of audiobooks and doing a daily thing where I just walk around the neighborhood and listen to audiobooks, not narrative books, because as I've covered before, my imagination is blind, so narrative books don't really do a lot for me. But like self-help books and books for just like learning, they are quite lovely, but I have the reading skill of a freaking 10-year-old, so audiobooks might be a good way to also get some exercise in and some, some touching grass done because what I usually do is I have a Kindle Colorsoft tablet, which is just for like, books. I picked the Colorsoft so I could read comics on it, but I don't find myself reading as much as I'd like because there is still quite a lot of friction when it comes to doing that activity, like reading traditionally, even if it's from a tablet. And it's not like the light of the screen. Like I adjust the light so that it's comfortable and it's not pressing my eyes, but there's still something about traditionally reading that I guess school really did ruin reading for me a lot more than I thought it did. So I might just get one audiobook to like test this out, probably one of the really famous ones like Atomic Habits or something, and see how that works for me. Also, I've spent so much of today sleeping. Today was a free from work day. It was a free day for me. So part of it I spent playing a bit of Monster Hunter Wilds, getting the hang of that game again. That was fun. Game still whooped my ass. And another part I spent playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak with friends on a Discord call, which has been kind of a nice thing I get to do because a friend of mine is making his way through the game. So we join him on a Discord call, just chat shit and play, and that always feels great. But for the most part, I spent the day just sleeping in my bed. I really need to find a solution for this because I've been oversleeping way too much during the day. Like, I get my 8 hours a night. I don't know why the hell. Maybe it's the heat. Like, I've been told that the heat can make people feel tired, but I really need to do something to keep me away from the bed during the day. Also, I've been tinkering with the idea of doing live streams, but basically just having it be the art process instead of like me yapping with it. It's literally just me doing the art with the camera on the side, but no me talking. And the only thing really holding me back from doing that is I don't find the idea all that appealing. Like to me, the thing that I like about this whole YouTube channel and doing this is that it sort of like interweaves, me, my personality, my ideas with the creativity you're seeing on screen. So you kind of get a little bit about me while you watch my creative process. And I feel that disconnecting one from the other just makes it blander. And it's definitely less fun for me to do because I just love doing these little yappy time videos. Man, looking at this footage, I really need to speed up in terms of like my ability to like get stuff down on the canvas and like polish it because like my slowness is really starting to weigh on me because there are so many pieces I want to do and I want to finish and I want to have and like show, but heck, I there's probably I still haven't finished the Cottontail VA one because since that one was done in the scribbly style, I kind of just want to finish this one first so I can establish a way of doing this whole thing with the gouache brush. But I really have a lot to do, and quite frankly, I'm starting to worry about whether or not I genuinely have the ability to like get things finished and done. Another thing, getting back to this particular drawing, is whether or not I'm going to use outlines, but not outlines in the strict sense of like, very visible line art, but more in like using slightly darker or off saturation colors to frame certain parts of the outline of her body because you'd think that would make her look less 3D, but I've seen a lot of artworks where that actually makes it look more 3D and better, and it's appealing. It kind of has a little bit of that Borderlands cell shady thing that I like so much. So I might, might asterisk, I might try that and see where it goes. But right now I am struggle bussing. I am struggle maxing with these fucking hands, bro. I guess the biggest mistake I made with this whole piece so far is that I didn't 100% plan it out. Like, I improvised a lot of it and I didn't exactly establish the exact position I wanted the hands and arms to be in. Plus, I also didn't establish all the little details and accoutrements and like things that the arms on the cyber part of her have. So I think doing that really, really handicapped me. And I think going forward, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that because it's been brutal trying to figure it out in the middle of actually painting it because you're no longer just worrying about the shape of something, you're also worrying about the lighting and everything, and that just makes it even harder to figure out. But anyway, that's all the yapping I've got for today. Thanks for listening and or watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.